प्रमुख स्वामी सुखकारी, प्रमुख स्वामी सुखकारी, ये संत परम हितकारी।
गाथा महापुरुषनी संत परम हितकारिणी, गाथा महापुरुषनी संत परम हितकारिणी।
महापुरुषनी आछे कथा प्रमुख सुखकारी।
In season 1 of His Holiness Pramukh Swami Maharaj's divine life story, we paid homage to many incidents and events that formed the basis of his virtuous character and personality. In the first 18 years of his life, Swami Shri graced the land of Chansad through his play and studies, and thereafter acquired Diksha from Guru Shastriji Maharaj, leaving his entire worldly life behind. For 11.5 years, Swami Shri dedicated his time in studying Sanskrit, performing Mandir Seva, arranging festivals, traveling for Vichran, conducting parayans, as well as key activities that included remaining close to Shastriji Maharaj and gaining increasing visibility of the management of Sanstha-related matters. With Swami Shri's know-how and talents shining forth through his Guru's blessings, Shastriji Maharaj formally decided to entrust full responsibilities of the Sanstha to Swami Shri and appointed him the Pramukh in 1951. This, sadly, was the final act of Shastriji Maharaj's divine life, who later reverted back to Akshardham following this historic event. We pick up Pramukh Swami Maharaj's story in the aftermath of Shastriji Maharaj's departure. Swami Shri, now at the age of 30, finds himself at the heart of the Sanstha, this time under the sacred refuge of Yogiji Maharaj, the new Guru of BAPS organization. Swami Shri knew he couldn't waste any time in lifting the spirits of all those who were left empty and dejected by the loss of their original Guru and founder, Shastriji Maharaj.
For the entire Satsang fellowship, the passing of Shastriji Maharaj, the loss of their Guru was simply too much to fathom. After all, this was their Guru who had been trying for 33 long years to acquire the land for the mandir in Gadpur.
શાસ્ત્રી મહારાજને તો તે મંદિર કરવાની સતત વિચાર હોય હતો જ કે ભલે લાલ લીટી થઈ છે પણ મંદિર તો આપણે થશે. એટલે જ્યારે જ્યારે અમે દર્શન કરવા બધા જતા કોઈ પણ ભક્તો હોય કે કોઈ હોય ત્યારે ગેલામાં સ્નાન કરી કે આ ટેકરા પર મંદિર કરવું છે. હવે તે ઘડી તો આપણે ગામમાં કોઈ બેસવા ના દે, ગામમાં કોઈ બેસવા ના દે, દર્શનનું દુઃખ ને રહેવાનું દુઃખ, એટલી બધી પરિસ્થિતિ ખરાબ. પણ સ્વામી બહુ મક્કમતાથી બોલે કઈ મંદિર થશે. પછી ઘણા તો બધા કે સ્વામી અહીંયા આપણે સગવડ તો કોઈ આપતા નથી, અહીં રહેવાનું સ્થાન નથી. સ્વામી ગમે તે ભગવાન અન્યથા કરતો કરીને પણ આ કામ કરશે એવું પોતે કરતા. હું 3 શિખરનું મંદિર જોઉં છું અને આરસનું મંદિર ભગવાન અહીં બેસે અને આ થશે એવી બહુ મક્કમથી પોતે વાત કર્યા કરતા. પછી પ્રયત્નો પણ ચાલુ રાખેલા કે ભાવનગર સાહેબ ઠાકોર સાહેબને મહારાજા સાહેબની સાથે કોઈનો સંબંધ હોય તો એને વાત કરે. એવા ઘણા ઘણા માણસોને સ્વામી જ્યારે મળે તો મારે કે ભાવનગર સાથે સંબંધ છે તો મારે તમારી વાત કરો જઈને. અને મોહનભાઈ મોતીજી જ્યારે મળે ત્યારે એમને પણ કહે કે અમારા તમે પ્રયત્ન કરો ને અમારું જગ્યા મંદિર. મોહનભાઈ બહુ બુદ્ધિશાળી વાણિયા, એટલે કે સ્વામી થશે, આપણો સંકલ્પ થશે એવું બોલે. પણ આમ પેલું કહે ને કે અંદરમાંથી પેલું બધું એમને જ કરાયેલું, એમની મારફત થયેલું હતું. એટલે બીજું કઈ કહી શકે નિર્ગુણ સાહેબ જયારે આંક રાખે કે કેવું કે વાણિયા બુદ્ધિ શું રાખો છો, શાસ્ત્રીમાં રાજી કરી લો. અને એક આપણે નડિયાદના દેવાન સાહેબ ના દીકરા બાલુભાઈ સાહેબ નટુભાઈ બાલુભાઈ ગયા હતા, એમને પણ સ્વામીએ વાત કરીને તે પણ ભાવનગરજીને વાત કરેલા. પણ મૂળ વસ્તુ શું છે કે મહારાજા સાહેબ તો બહુ દોહા દિલના ને બહુ ભગવાનના માણસ એટલે બહુ દયાળુ હતા. એમને કઈ એવું બધું ખટપટ કે આવું નહીં, એટલે જે પ્રયત્નો થયેલા એમાં સફળતા મળી નહીં આપણને કોઈ પણ રીતે. પણ શાસ્ત્રી મહારાજ શ્રદ્ધા કે આ મંદિર અહીં થશે અને પ્રયત્ન પણ આ રીતે ચાલે.
At the age of 84, he had started off the ceremonies for the groundbreaking of this new mandir. He had already started making arrangements for the murtis to be installed in this mandir 18 years prior to that event. And that Shastriji Maharaj had left them, had departed for Akshardham just 6 days before the scheduled date of the Murti Pratishta.
The entire Satsang fellowship was looking forward to celebrating this festival. They had thoughts in their mind. Maharaj Swami will reside on the hilltop in Gadara. We will witness Shastriji Maharaj's wish being fulfilled. Shastriji Maharaj's glory will be amplified. But with the passing away of Shastriji Maharaj, the whole atmosphere became very low. At that time, like the sun emerging from the clouds, some very encouraging and enlightening words were spoken by Yogiji Maharaj.
Shastriji Maharaj kya gaya che? Shastriji Maharaj, he is not gone. Shastriji Maharaj to pragat che. Shastriji Maharaj is ever present. And with these words of Yogiji Maharaj, everyone's faith was rejuvenated. Energy and vigor were awakened within everyone's hearts. And everyone became active again, all under the guidance of the 28-year-old Pramukh Swami.
Swami Shri, who had so far remained behind the scenes in Shastriji Maharaj's presence, has now emerged on the platform that Shastriji Maharaj had prepared for him and began fulfilling his role.
It was just one day prior to the Pratishta, which was to be performed in Gadpur. The 15th of May 1951 was the day of the Yagna. The streets of Gadpur were alive with Vedic mantras. The air and sky were filled with the smoke of the Yagna, and the atmosphere was fragrant from the materials used in the Yagna. Amidst this divine atmosphere, bands sounded as the grand Shobha Yatra commenced. The streets of the town were alive with bhajans, kirtans befitting the occasion, took people back to over 100 years ago, in the time of Bhagwan Swaminarayan, who had blessed these streets of Gadpur. The day of the Pratishta, the historic date of the 16th of May 1951, the murtis of Akshar Purushottam Maharaj, Bhagwan Swaminarayan, along with Gunatitanand Swami, also along with the murti of Gopalananda Swami. These beautiful Panch Dhatu murtis were consecrated in the central shrine of Gadra Mandir. Yogiji Maharaj, Pramukh Swami Maharaj, senior sadhus and devotees performed this first arti.
Everyone felt as if Shastriji Maharaj was present because of the atmosphere of the event. This is the speciality of the Gunatit Guru tradition. The Sampradaya never ends. The sun rises as soon as the sun sets. Therefore, there is no chance for anyone to remain trapped in darkness. Swami Shri's seva was seen in all aspects of the festival and construction of the mandir. In accordance with Shastriji Maharaj's wishes, Swami Shri had given his all to each and every stone of this mandir. Despite being the mastermind behind the temple construction and festival planning, he engaged even in the smallest service without expecting privileges. He had only one thought, that Shastriji Maharaj's work gets completed and we pay appropriate tribute to him. Accordingly, within a year of becoming Pramukh, he celebrated this festival in a grand manner to offer his Guru Bhakti to his Guru Shastriji Maharaj.
The festival for the Murti Pratishta of the Mandir in Gadpur was the first of many to be led by Pramukh Swami. Despite all the responsibilities and so much happening, Pramukh Swami's impressive and distinctive aura shone through, so much so that one particular 17-year-old youth was drawn to it.
That particular individual hadn't come into the contact of sadhus or mandis that often. He had studied at an English school with Christian teachers and therefore predominantly was surrounded by non-satsangis. This may have been why, despite coming from a satsangi family, his own spiritual inclination had not yet blossomed. But he did have the fortune of playing on Shastriji Maharaj's lap as an infant and had received Vartman from him.
When Shastriji Maharaj passed away, he had come to Saharanpur accompanying his family. But Shastriji Maharaj's cremation had already been performed by the time his family reached. This teenager in Saharanpur had Swami Shri's darshan for the very first time, standing to the right-hand side of the south-facing stairs of the mandir. After this first glimpse of Swami Shri in Saharanpur, the young teenager traveled to Gadra for the Murti Pratishta ceremony. And it was here in Gadra, on the eve of the Pratishta, the day of the Mahayagna and the Shobha Yatra, the 15th of May 1951, that he first spoke with Swami Shri. The youth, he was used to calmness, a disciplined environment. And here there was clamor, there was a commotion of a festival, which would seem irritating for many people. However, one of the leading devotees of Anand, Moti Kaka, he introduced this teenager to Pramukh Swami. And this was to be his first meeting with Swami Shri. That teenager was none other than Vinubai Manibai Patel of Anand, Param Pujya Mahan Swami Maharaj.
Swami એટલી મૂર્તિ હજુ મને યાદ આવે છે. એટલા ચપળ, એટલા અને કારા ભમર જેવા વાળ હતા, એકદમ કારા અને શુક્લકડી હતા. મને યાદ આવ્યું કે હું કંઈ એમને કંઈ જોયા છે એવા. તે વખતે તો સત્સંગ પહેલી જ વાર મળ્યા છે, પણ તો લાગતું હતું. પણ એ મૂર્તિ હજુ યાદ આવે છે. પણ તો સ્વામી આમ કંઈ દિવ્યતા લાગતી હતી, આમ કંઈ જુદો અનુભવ થતો હતો.
Through this first meeting, Swami Shri had made a home for himself in the heart of this young man. Before the murtis were consecrated in Gadra Mandir, Swami Shri's murti was consecrated in Vinubai's heart.
It was the 28th of August 1951. Soon after the festival of Janmashtami was celebrated, Pramukh Swami departed from Atladra for Ahmedabad. On this day, many youths were returning home after spending time with Yogiji Maharaj in Atladra. These youths were pleased upon having darshan of Swami Shri at the railway station. Soon the train arrived. The youths, they sat where they could find a seat. Swami Shri, he entered the third-class carriage. Even as president of the organization, he had no expectations for any special arrangements. Vinubai from Anand, he also entered the same carriage as Swami Shri. After having met Swami Shri at Gadra, it was as if he was being drawn closer and closer to Swami Shri. Swami Shri would hardly say anything, yet Vinubai remembers enjoying being in his company. Satam Sapta Padam Maitram. It is said that friendship is formed merely by walking 7 steps with the true sadhu. Vinubai was experiencing this. Swami Shri was also very pleased upon seeing Vinubai. A short while later, the train departed from Vadodara.
So Swami Shri asked Vinubai about his studies, what he's studying, how he's getting on as he's a young youth, a 17, 18-year-old person. And then seeing that around his neck there was no kanthi, Swami Shri asked him, are you not wearing kanthi around your neck? He said, no. So Swami Shri spoke very affectionately, wait, when we let Yogi Baba put it on you. Hearing this, when Swami Shri asked about the country, the accompanying sadhu, the Jodna sadhu we said, he immediately brought a country straight away. And he gave it to Pramukh Swami Maharaj. And Swami Shri placed that country around Virubai's neck. Now even in this you can see, he was always he was so humble that he would want Yogi Baba to put the country around Vinubai's neck. But it so happened he is the one who placed it around his neck. Vinubai's Gujarati wasn't that great because he was brought up in the Hindi-speaking Madhya Pradesh, Jabalpur area. Pramukh Swami's Hindi wasn't that great as well, it was broken. So, in this conversation, Pramukh Swami Maharaj asked him a question.
સાધુ થવું છે અને આપણે તો કંઈ ખ્યાલ જ નહીં પણ તે વખતે આપણે હા પાડી દીધી અને પછી પહેલી જ વાર પ્રમુખ સ્વામીએ આપણને સાધુ થવાની વાત મને કરેલી.
So in Jeva Mein Nirkhya, part number 4, Mahan Swami Maharaj mentions his experience. Let's look at his own words, what he said.
His tone was not commanding, nor was it one of force or compulsion. It was merely a description of the miseries of worldly life and a description of the bliss of God and the bliss of Guru. Swami Shri's unimposing style was such that I felt the choice was left to me. His tone was so sweet, loving, and humble that in the end, an absolutely new direction had opened up in my life. I felt at peace.
Further, he said in that book, after a short while, Swami Shri began explaining the wonderful virtues of Yogiji Maharaj. Hearing these talks, I felt such bliss and warmth that it was as if Swami Shri had taken me, his child, in his lap. In this manner, Yogiji Maharaj's greatness began settling in my heart. Inside the train, passengers were passing and making noise, going forward and backward. There was so much commotion. The rhythmic rattling of the boxcar, ashes flying from the engines, but conversation felt so pleasant that I failed to realize that Anand station had arrived already.
The youths leaving at Anand disembarked, had darshan, and spoke to Swami Shri through the train window. Shortly afterwards, the train departed for Ahmedabad. Giving his last words of inspiration before the train left, Swami Shri remarked with a soft laugh, "Today is Ekadashi. Make sure you don't eat anything." And the youths accepted this agna and bid farewell to Swami Shri.
Mahan Swami Maharaj says in his own words, as Swami Shri had not specified which type of fast to observe, for the first time in my life, I took on the difficult challenge of observing a waterless fast. If I had desired to eat, there were plenty of Ferrari items available in the house. But thinking of Swami Shri's wish, I decided to attempt a waterless fast. I barely made it through the day.
Vinubai had reached Anand. Swami Shri had left for Ahmedabad. Yet Vinubai's mind was still engrossed in him. Reflecting on this experience, his first journey with Swami Shri, Vinubai felt, my development occurred through this loving speech of Swami Shri. It was no ordinary occurrence. I had never considered becoming a sadhu before. Swami Shri had not spoken with any motive, but everything was so natural and fell into place. Swami Shri had explained these lofty and what could have first seemed like firm talks of renouncing the world with such ease that the feeling of life's success being only in this was established in my heart on that day. Swami Shri had been speaking to me in Hindi, so it was natural he would struggle with the language. But how much power there must have been in his words, that despite this, those words became embedded in my heart. This is impossible without a real sadhu.
During their first meeting in Gujarat, Swamishri had won the heart of Vinubai. On this journey, Swamishri had inspired austerities and renunciation. Both the meeting and the journey had been arranged spontaneously. Both Swamishri and Vinubai had come together spontaneously. However, within those moments, a great deal became fixed, which was to be realized on many occasions in the future. In 1952, Yogiji Maharaj was in Petlad with Swamishri. Vinubai had come from Anand to Petlad to take the love of Yogiji Maharaj. At that time, sad news had been received that a staunch devotee, Kuber Bhai of Bhavnagar, had passed away. Hearing the news, Yogiji Maharaj made arrangements to travel to Bhavnagar, but told Vinubai, "You remain with Pramukh Swami and serve him, and we will meet again later." Swamishri had to travel to Ahmedabad. Before he departed with his accompanying sadhu and Vinubai, the three of them stayed at the mandir in Amriwali Port. This was the very place where Shastriji Maharaj had appointed young Narayan Swarup Das as the president of the Sanstha. Vinubai was pleased on having darshan of this sanctified place.
And at that time, Babubai was the kothari of the temple, of this small mandir. He looked after all the affairs of the mandir at that time. Although he had great attachment for the Sanstha, Paksha, but he was a stingy person. He gave even only the essentials such as flour, ghee, oil, other cooking ingredients very hesitantly.
Swamishri, however, accepted with content whatever Babubai gave him. He would prepare the meals himself. After preparation, he would offer it to Thakurji, and he would also serve the people with the food, the prasad that was offered to Thakurji.
મારે એવું થયું, મને કંઈ ખબર નહીં કે સાંઈ બાપાની શું રુચિ અને આ સીધું માપમાં છે કે કંઈ કોઈ વાતની ખબર નહીં. એટલે બાપાને કઈ રીતે રુચિ, મારી રુચિ ખબર પડી ગઈ કે રોટલી વધારે જમવું અને પોતે પછી બધું ઘી, બધું એમના ભાગનું ઘી ચોપડી દે અને બધું, અને કોઈક રીતે ખબર ના પડે, આપણને ખબર ના પડે. અને આપણે જુવાન એટલા ભૂખ પણ બહુ લાગે અને બધી તળાવ માર ભૂખ, એટલે એમાં બેસી જઈએ. બાપા પોતે રસોઈ બનાવે, પોતે રોટલી વણે, પોતે, અને પછી આવીને પીરસી જાય, પછી પાછા રોટલી બનાવે પીરસી જાય, એ રીતે કરે. અને આપણે તો બિંદાસ એક બહુ મજા પડી. અને સંકોચ થાય કે આ કઈ રીતે માગવું બધું, પણ સ્વામીએ એ જે અંતરાય તોડી નાખ્યો અને બાપા એક થઈ ગયા. અને એ જેટલું પીરસે એટલું આપણે બધા બધું જમી જવું. અને પછી બાપા તો એમના માટે દાળ ભાત જ રહે, અને દાળ ભાતમાં કેટલું રહે ભગવાન જાણે, પણ એ બધું ચલાવી લેતા.
This was Swamishri's generosity. For one whose right hand gives without the left realizing, how would others come to know about this? Swamishri never had a desire to amplify his own actions or work. Vinubai was drenched in this divine and genuine love.
This reminds us of a nice, well-known Kirtan Kadi. ભૂખ્યા રહી જમાડ્યા અમને, જાગી ઊંઘાડ્યા, એવા કાયાના કીધેલા જતનજી. You remained hungry, yet you fed us. You remained awake, yet let us sleep. This is how we have seen you. Swamishri showered his affection on all in this way.
Yogiji Maharaj was still in Bhavnagar. During that time, Swamishri had to travel from Ahmedabad to Adladra. Swamishri, his accompanying sadhu and Vinubai, found seats on the train in good time. However, keeping in mind the sadhu's discipline of Maryada, Swamishri looked for seats that would be suitable. He said to Vinubai, "You remain seated here."
અને આગળ જગ્યા જોવા ગયા, જગ્યા સરસ મળી ગઈ. તો પાછા આવ્યા અને મને કહ્યું ચાલો આપણે જઈએ. પછી આપણે ગયા તો ત્યાં સ્વામી બાપાએ એમને યાદ કરાવ્યું, તારી થેલી ક્યાં? મેં કહ્યું થેલી તો રહી ગઈ. સ્વામી કે બેસો, હું લઈ આવું. હવે કોણ ગુરુ કોણ ચેલો એવું બધું થઈ ગયું. પણ સ્વામી બાપા એક શબ્દ બોલ્યા નહીં. અને સ્વામી પોતાની ટપાલ જે લખવાની હતી એમાં ચડી ગયા અને ઠેઠ અટલાદરા આવ્યા સુધી સ્વામી કોઈ એક શબ્દ બોલ્યા નહીં. અને મનમાં મને અતિ ભાવ થયા કરે કે આવા ગુરુ ક્યાંથી છે? આ મા બાપ હોય આપણા ભાઈ એ આપણને ઠપકારે.
Swami Maharaj says in his own words, the more I contemplate on it, the more I learn. My love grows for him, and his unceasing flow of love and care for me still continues to bring tears of joy to my eyes. Now the question I ask myself is, why so much love and concern for me? Without any justification. He should have expected me to care for him. In fact, I had been specifically sent to Ahmedabad with him to serve him. Instead, he ended up serving me. How paradoxical. The Guru became the servant and cared for my needs. Was his popularity going to increase by serving me? Not likely, since no one else knew of the incident. Was he going to gain anything else from me? Not likely, since I had nothing to give him. So many other youths like me were ready to serve him. He had only to ask. But this was Swami Shri's technique of love. He believed all of us to be Yogi Bapas, so he served us like he would serve Yogi Bapa.
Swami Shri's personality was such that it touched many hearts. Alongside senior sadhus, various other individuals were becoming impressed by Swami Shri's personality and virtues.
Once in the village of Nand, on the auspicious day of Ekadashi, Swami Shri bathed in the river Narmada, and from there he reached the town of Saring. Venubai and Ramanbai, later to be known as Pujya Dr. Swami, had also come to Saring to enjoy the samagam of Yogiji Maharaj, narrating the impression that Pramukh Swami left on him. During that occasion, Ramanbai later wrote, I did not know at the time the position that Pramukh Swami Maharaj held in the Sanstha. In fact, I have no recollection of any discourses or any speeches that he had given in public, nor was there any particular personal interaction with him. But I remember that I enjoyed the mere presence of Pramukh Swami. It's worth pondering over this opinion of Pujya Dr. Swami. Yes, we enjoy flowers because they give us a fragrant scent. We enjoy food because it satiates our taste. Affection usually comes with an expectation. However, without any notion of give and take, without any personal interaction, thousands enjoyed and were to enjoy the mere presence of Pramukh Swami Maharaj. How many virtues there must be in an individual that their mere presence alone gives so much joy to so many people. Truly, this code of Swami Shri's attraction will never be deciphered.
On April the 10th, 1952, the Chaitra Sud Punam festival is always taking place in Bochasan. On this occasion, many improvements had been made to the various parts of the Mandir complex. Firstly, the Sant Nivas Haveli had been repainted. On the third floor of the Mandir, stone pillars had been erected. However, one scene was striking and surprising. In the Mandir Rang Mandap, that means below the Mandir, alongside the murtis of Aksha Purushottam Maharaj, Shastriji Maharaj, Yogiji Maharaj and Nirgun Swami, a pictorial murti of Swami Sri had also been placed.
Not only that, but in the Swaminarayan Prakash, the Sanstha's monthly magazine, an announcement had been written that in the assembly halls of the 5 Sikrabad Mandirs, pictorial murtis of Shastriji Maharaj, Yogiji Maharaj, Nirgundas Swami and Sastri Narayan Swarupdas were to be consecrated, and that whoever wished to take this opportunity to sponsor the murti should do so.
Swami Sri was only 31 years old at that time. Just think of this announcement. Despite his young age, the fact that the tradition of consecrating his murti began in the presence of other elderly, senior sadhus. Such was his impression on everyone. He was accepted by all and respected by all.
Once in Gadara, a well-known engineer, Mohan Bhai Rathod from Mumbai, came into Swami Shri's contact. He was an ardent scholar of the Ramayana and had successfully debated with many sadhus and religious leaders. He held Yogiji Maharaj in very high regard. Yogiji Maharaj had once told him, Mohan Bhai, Shastriji Maharaj has built a marble mandir in Gadara. You should visit there for darshan. The work is still ongoing. Moreover, we want to build a sabha mandap and a dharamshala there. We wish that you visit that place once. Pramukh Swami will be there. Please provide him with any guidance.
As per Yogiji Maharaj's Agna, Mohan Bhai visited Gadara. He stayed there for almost a week. Swami Sri cared for him properly. Swami Sri shared the mandir's history, its importance and the fascinating details with Mohan Bhai. Whenever Mohan Bhai asked questions as an engineer regarding the construction, Swami Sri, like a seasoned engineer himself, immediately explained the complex details of the mandir construction with great reliability.
Mohan Bhai was educated, sharp and intelligent. He had a tendency to judge any sadhus he met. Here, however, he was greatly impressed by Swami Shri's simplicity, saintliness, seva, sharp insight, amongst many such virtues. When Mohan Bhai met Yogiji Maharaj again after returning to Mumbai, Yogiji Maharaj asked him to share any news about Gadara. Mohan Bhai, who was overwhelmed and utterly impressed, cheerfully gushed,
Bapa, what can I say about Narayan Sarup Swami? Narayan Sarup Swami is the form of Narayan. Such are his virtues. Such is his saintliness. I have never seen such a sadhu, such a president of any mandir, ashram, sanstha or sampradaya. Hearing this, Yogiji Maharaj beamed with joy. Clapping his hands, he professed, that is the grace of our Guru Shastriji Maharaj. Pramukh Swami Maharaj is indeed pure gold. In Bhadra, at Popat Bhai Dani's house, a small mandap had been erected in the courtyard. And there, on the porch, all the devotees sat down for dinner.
Swami Shri tied his dhoti and walked up and down the line of devotees with warm food in his hands as he personally bent down to serve each devotee. At that time, a learned Brahmin happened to be there. He was not a devotee. He observed Swami Shri bending down to serve each devotee and lovingly fill each plate with food. His gaze was fixed to Swami Shri. After a while, the Brahman called Popat Bhai near him. He asked Popat Bhai, while pointing at Swami Shri, who is that sadhu who is serving the devotees?
Popat Bhai gave Swami Shri's introduction. Hearing that, the Brahman said, like Yogiji Maharaj, thousands of people will follow Pramukh Swami Maharaj. My knowledge of astrology is limited, but on seeing the appearance of this sadhu and examining his characteristics, it appears to me that if we ever meet again in future due to God's grace, then I will remind you of this.
Popat Bhai was stunned on hearing this prophecy, because for him, Pramukh Swami appeared to be a simple, ordinary sadhu. And with time, Popat Bhai was to witness the truth of the words of the learned Brahmin. Pramukh Swami was forming a remarkable impression on many who he came across within the Sampradaya. However, one such incident proved to be life-changing for an individual outside the Sampradaya. Let us go back to November 1969. After celebrating the festival of Dev Diwali in Bochasan, Pramukh Swami travelled extensively to many places before reaching Sokhra in Matar.
A local devotee by the name of Purushottam Das had once requested Yogiji Maharaj to visit his village. Yogiji Maharaj agreed, okay, I will visit. However, to organize a visit to this village, it was necessary to seek the permission of the local Mukhi, the chief of the village, whose name was Jasbai, who was very tough fortress to breach. He had hatred and aversion for all ascetics, sadhus. He believed that all sadhus and ascetics did was consume tobacco, to take some drugs, and hence contaminated the village.
The devotee Purushottam Das was well aware of Jashbai's aversion for sadhus. Yet he had no choice but to seek his approval, and therefore he put forward the proposal of Yogiji Maharaj visiting the village. The reply he received from the village chief was as expected. Jashbai outrageously exclaimed, I will not let any sadhus or bawas enter my village. Maintaining his calm, Purushottam Das started to explain the virtues, the glory of Yogiji Maharaj, that this was a different sadhu. And through the insistence of Purushottam Das, Jashbai grudgingly agreed for Yogiji Maharaj to visit the village.
However, now came a bigger question: arranging the accommodation for Yogiji Maharaj's stay. Where? The only place suitable was Jasbai's house. So again, Purushottam Bhai mustered some courage.
He gently requested Jashbai to allow Yogiji Maharaj to stay at his house just for 2 days. As expected, the chief's complexion turned red with anger on hearing this proposal. He declined the proposal. He said, that will never ever happen. I give you an inch and you are asking for a mile. However, Purushottam Das was so genuine that Jashbai had to give in. Eventually, Jashbai said, okay, listen, since you have been constantly pestering me, I will allow your sadhus to stay. However, I myself will move out to some other place. Don't think of calling me for darshan of those unruly bawas. Don't ask me to fold my hands in front of them. And once those sadhus leave, make sure you clean the house properly. Get rid of all those tobacco stains. Only then hand it back to me. And with these words, the angry chief, he stormed off in a fury.
However, it so happened that Yogiji Maharaj was unable to visit Sokhra because of his poor health. So Yogiji Maharaj, however, told that Pramukh Swami Maharaj will come to your village, and when he comes, believe that I have come. And so Swamiji, in the place of Yogiji Maharaj, reached Sokhra Matar as planned. Swamiji's residence was arranged at the village chief Mukhi's house just by. While Swamiji stayed there, and he did all the padramis for 2 days, he did sabhas, he operated everything from the house. And when the time came to leave 2 days later, Pramukh Swami Maharaj, he inquired, okay, 2 days we have stayed here, but whose house is this?
Purushottam Das replied, Jashbai, the village chief. Pramukh Swami said, so where is he? You should have at least introduced him to me. Yes, it was Swamiji's tendency to take time out and meet the hosts and their family members wherever he went. If anyone had any addictions, Swami Shri would also lovingly guide them to an addiction-free life. And when Swami Shri insisted to Purushottam Das that you must bring Jashbhai here, I want to meet him, it was then that Purushottam Das disclosed, somewhat hesitatingly, that Swami, this Jashbhai, he has a deep dislike for all sadhus. So believe me, he will not come. And if we insist that he comes, I'm pretty sure that he will insult you. Swami Shri, he maintained his insistence of meeting the chief. He said, look, at least, the least we can do is to thank him for allowing us to stay in his house.
Terrified or confronting Jashbhai, a few of the devotees approached him and meekly, with folded hands, said, Jashbhai, Pramukh Swami Maharaj is calling you. Hearing this, Jashbhai erupted. Didn't I instruct you? I don't want to meet anyone. I don't want to meet your sadhus. Go away. I don't want to come. After some bitter negotiations and intense pleading, the chief finally yielded and agreed to come to meet Swami Shri. However, his fury was still escalating at a highest ever. An anger born out of doing something that you intensely despise was flickering upon Jashbhai's face, which could burst any time. It's like a volcano. In such an enraged state, Jashbhai came to meet Swami Shri. But something surprising happened when he saw Swami Shri. It was something splendid. One could not even imagine.
As soon as Jashbhai came face to face with Pramukh Swami, as soon as he had his darshan, he immediately calmed down. His anger dissipated completely. And not only that, he bent down. He bowed down at Swami Shri's feet and he said, God, you stayed for 2 days at my house? Can't you stay for 2 more days? Everyone seeing this was totally dumbfounded. Nothing less than a miracle. It may be possible to bend a twig, it's quite easy. But here it was apparent that the entire tree trunk had been bent. Imagine what Jashbhai must have experienced on having Swami Shri's darshan. It is said, only experience can match experience. Yes, sometimes words may fall short to describe an experience. But one thing was for sure. After Swami Shri's darshan, Jashbhai, the antagonistic village chief, was completely transformed. He became a satsangi. His nature totally changed. He even started performing regular morning puja. And with time it so happened that the chief began attending Satsang Sabha at the local mandir every day. There came a time when he would spend his entire day there, only going home to eat. And towards the end of his life, he became so engrossed in mandir seva that he would arrange for food to be delivered from his house to the mandir. He would literally be doing seva all day. And in this way, first through the darshan of Pramukh Swami, Jashbhai became a satsangi and he served in satsang until his very last breath. After his passing, his soul departed, knowing it had already attained liberation while in its mortal body. This was not a miracle of Swami Shri's words, but of Swami Shri's mere darshan, of Swami Shri's mere presence, and truly iron had been transformed into gold that day.
It can be said that almost everyone will try to make a good first impression in front of the people surrounding them. But only a few will make a lasting impression. This was Swami Shri's natural form around all people from all walks of life, no matter the background or status. A truly lasting impression was felt by all who were closely affiliated with the Sanstha, as well as those on its boundaries. Next time, we take a look at how Swami Shri was able to leave such an indelible impression in people's hearts and minds. through his humble way, coupled with an incredible capability to perform all kinds of tasks and leading by example as a master of all trades, we will witness Pramukh Swami Maharaj perform the grand Kadash installation of Shastriji Maharaj's glorious hilltop mandir in Gadara. This would become Swami Shri's first ever large-scale festival to manage, by building solidarity and strength for all devotees. How will the young Pramukh fare? Join us for episode 2, The People's Pramukh.
મને તો એમ જ થયા કરે છે કે આપણા કેવા ભાગ્યનો પાર આવે એમ નથી કે પ્રમુખ સ્વામી જેવા ગુરુનો યોગ થયો. તેઓએ આપણને સૌને નિહાલ કર્યા છે. એ અનુભવ આ જીવન ચરિત્ર વાંચતા વિશેષ દ્રઢ થશે. આ વાંચતા ખૂબ જ આનંદ થશે. સ્વામી બાપા નજર આગળ તરવરવા લાગશે.
कैसा जादू आप मिले हो स्वामी, कैसा जादू आप मिले स्वामी हम पे किया, हर खुशी से हमारा जीवन भर दिया स्वामी, भर दिया. दिल में तेरे लिए कुर्बानी रहे प्रमुख स्वामी, तुम्हारी कहानी रहे. जब तक धरती पे सूरज की रोशनी रहे, ये सितारे और चांद की वो चांदनी रहे. प्रमुख स्वामी तुम्हारी कहानी रहे, प्रमुख स्वामी तुम्हारी